country of origin labeling. Senate version says nothing about country of origin labeling. Country of origin labeling is in place right now. What that means is where the meat comes from is on the label. Can't always find it very well, but if you'll go to the store and look over the meat cuts, except for ground meat, on beef, it will tell you where the meat's from. Ground meat can say several, but it has to say what country it's from. I can tell you that in most grocery stores, big and little, it says product of the United States, which is great. The House version has an amendment put on it that says that cool, as it is today, will be repealed until USDA takes time to do a study to see the cost effectiveness and if and or the consumer wants it. Well, I went to A&M, but I didn't wake up yesterday. Those stores, H-E-B, Walmart, Sam's, if they could buy meat cheaper, it was a product of Brazil, Mexico, Canada, Argentina, China, wherever, and put it out there, and if the consumer would buy it, saying it was made in China, they would do it because it'd be cheaper. But evidently, that consumer, I can't say housewife, you have to say homemaker now, that homemaker prefers U.S. beef because that's what it says on there. We've watched a lot of our products go away, made somewhere else. And we're one of the last ones that makes anything in this country, just about. I mean, we make oil, but products, I mean, there's a lot of food products that are made somewhere else. There's very few vegetables that are grown in the valley anymore. They're grown in Mexico because labor's cheaper. Overhead is cheaper. So the House version is bad, as it says. Senate version is good. On cool. Now, there's other issues in there, nutrition and subsidies and everything that they both differ on. What we ask you to do, there's two. Okay, each house has passed their version of the bill. They're not the same. So what they do is they go to a committee of conferees, and so many from this group is on the conferees, and so many of the senators are on the conferees, and they all get together, and it's kind of like kids trading baseball cards. You know, I'll trade you 2 wicks for 1 dairy subsidy. You know, and that's what they're going to do. There's 2 Texas House of Representative members on that group of conferees, Randy Dogbauer and K. Michael Conway. Unfortunately, they're from up in North Texas, and they have a lot of feedlots in their area. But those of you that got the email, we sent you the number of the White House or the Congressional Switchboard. It's a 202 number. Call it, ask for one of their offices, and tell them that you want to keep country of origin labeling, that you're a rancher and you live in Texas. You may not be in their district, but all politicians, none of the ones in here included, but all politicians up there have aspirations of being president, vice president, governor, whatever. We see that a lot. But you're a Texan, they're a Texan. Hopefully we can get enough laws in there where they don't make keeping knocking cool out of priority. And so we're asking you in the next few days, if you'll call up or text just like that, it's maybe cost you 50, 60 cents, 70 cents. Call on your cell phone, like it won't cost anything. If you didn't get that email, check with Cattlemen right over here, and she has that number. I have that number also on my phone on an email that I sent y'all, but it is too small for me to read it. But she can read it. But the rest of cool is, you can hear people saying, well, the WTO, the World Trade Organization, is against it. When we first put cool in the World Trade Organization, Mexico, Canada, and a couple other countries complained. And so USDA went back and wrote a whole new set of rules on cool, and that's what's in place right now. The first blush, WTO says, looks like those rules will work. And what the WTO said was that it was not unfair to the other countries, Mexico and Canada, but it wasn't definite enough. There were too many products from this country, born here, raised there, processed here, and they wanted a more distinct answer for the consumer. So we've gone through that. We've gone through USDA, worked with them, trying to get the wording right, and we think the wording's right. Well, people that are against cool didn't like that, so they filed a lawsuit, and they wanted a court to do a temporary restraining order to stop the implementation of cool. Well, they wrote this big, long, 10-page deal on why it's bad, how much the packers were losing, and how it was terrible to the market, and it was depressing prices and everything. And U.S. Cattlemen Association, which is one of our national affiliates, which y'all had the side of beef for, Farmers Union, and one of the consumer groups came in as friends of the court. ICA came in as a friend of a friend. What that means is we sent them 10,000 of our friendly dollars up there to help fight for cool. Well, the judge ruled on their injunction, or temporary restraining order, and she bailed them out. I mean, she ruined them. And she basically, in her language, pretty much said, we're not going to do this. And so now what they're trying to do is get cool stopped in Congress. They say it's going to be bad for us. It's going to cost the packers and whoever else too much money. It's in place right now. It's been there for several months. Are any of y'all noticing the market being a problem? I mean, I listened to Larry Marble today, and some of the auction owners said, we can't believe how good it is. I mean, it's as good as it gets right now. Well, everybody but my wife. My wife says we can sell everything and get out because this is the best we ever did. Well, I hope she doesn't do that on husband. Of course, she wasn't real happy with me this morning. Anyway, we'll worry about that in the morning. But it's good. It's working. There's some problems that we can work out, but for the most part, it's a good program. We're U.S. producers. We raise U.S. cattle. If we don't fight for it, those people in Austin aren't going to fight for it. People in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston, unless they have a connection to the cattle business, they don't, I mean, we've got to do this ourselves, and we've got to talk. And we've got some good congressmen and senators from around the country on both sides of the aisle fighting for cool. And that's what we need. We're independent cattle. And I don't mean you're a member, I mean we're independent. We raise the kind of cattle we want. We all think ours is probably the best. But if we don't save ourselves, down the road, things are going to change. For instance, JBS is one of the largest meat producers in the world. They bought Pilgrim Industries, the chicken deal, a couple of years ago. They're owned by some people in Brazil. We have, 80 million cows in the United States? Brazil has over 200 million. What is that? Do the math. I mean, if you look at what your cost of production is, you say, when I tell my wife, right before I add some of my money over to the cattle business to make it work, I always tell her, our costs are high. We pay taxes, ad valorem taxes. We can get a break, but we still pay taxes. When we have somebody work for us, we're paying minimum wage or more. And around here, you've got to pay way more than that to get anybody to work for you because it's all field. But we pay for insurance, we pay for workman's comp, we pay sales tax on some items. We have a high cost of production. We've been blessed with ethanol, that 10% mandate. no telling what it's cost for cattle. It's probably costing the poultry producers even more than the hog producers. But we've got a lot of things that force us to have high prices. In Mexico, they don't have any of that. They don't have to worry about minimum wage. They don't have to worry about ad valorem taxes. They may pay more DINO or whatever else. And they probably got more disease, and they probably don't do quite as good a job as we do. Maybe they do a better job in some places. But they have a lot of opportunities to be there. And a lot of these countries, a lot of these big so-called American corporations that are really not American, they're just owned by a bunch of people. They don't care. Wherever the cheapest thing, wherever that product is the cheapest, that's where they're going. To buy that product to come back here and sell to the American people. This is one of the few things that the American consumer is still asking for. And the surveys, of course, from the people that are for it will say that they prefer it. People that are against school say, well, no, it's not. But surveys and experts, whoever pays them, whoever sides them, will say whatever you want. But to me, the best proof is go to the grocery store, pick up a product, look and see where it's made. If it was cheaper somewhere else, it would say somewhere else. But that consumer wants U.S. beef. With your checkoff dollars, we've been putting that dollar in ahead forever. And we've been promoting beef. And mostly U.S. beef. And we've done a lot of work, each one of you have, for the dollars you've sent in. I mean, we fought the hard people for years. We fought the animal rights people. Even some of our own people are against us there. We fought USDA when they talked about meatless Monday. And so we fought all the movie stars saying they don't eat meat. But I mean, we've worked together to do these things, and this is the one thing we need to get done. This has been a big issue for ICA forever. And that's our policy. And I'll leave it at that. If you don't get an email from me, that means that we don't have your right email, or that you didn't get it to us, or that you don't have an email. But if you need that number, I ask you please to make that call. Call them both and tell them what you think. Other than that, you're going to have the opportunity to vote on whether or not to have an additional dollar checkoff in Texas. Everyone that owns cattle will be able to vote, which means that if your son has a cow, or a show heifer, or a steer, they can vote. Your daughter, whatever, your wife, everybody can vote on that. The voting will be done most likely at the county agent's office. It will be done in person in limited circumstance. There will be mailed out ballots. On that ballot, we'll have to certify that you are a cattle producer, you own cattle. It's a $1 a head. It will go to the Beef Promotion Committee, which is appointed by the Commissioner of Agriculture. That committee will be the same as the Texas Beef Council. There's 18, I think, people on the Beef Council. ICA has 2 members of that. So we help tell where that Texas dollar will go. Our board supports it. We also recommended that money be used to promote Texas beef solely. Now that might be Texas beef in Japan, might be Texas beef in Nigeria, but that's what we recommended. Now whether that'll get down, we don't know. The other thing about the referendum, if it passes by 51%, it's refundable. So if you don't like it and you sell cattle and they take that dollar out, you have, I think it's going to be like, and the rules are still being massaged. We just made our comments on it the other day. You'll have the opportunity, I think, within 30 days to ask for your money back. So that's what's going to happen. Nobody else is going to advertise our product for us. Used to, we had close to $70–80 million a year for that. Now it's gone down Texas at one time was $15 million a year, over $15 million a year would be check off. Now it's going down. We got less cattle. And the dollar does not buy as much as it used to, as we all know. Just look at pickup trucks. You know, we started with the check off in '84. You could buy a pickup probably for $10,000. You can buy the bed of the pickup for $10,000 without the chrome. But so we need to step up, and you know, this is a good time to do it, and hopefully we can keep the price of beef up, because we keep edging the price up, and they're still selling. The beef is still selling in the store, and that's what we need to do. We need to, now that we've got to eat beef, of course, the population's growing, average consumption is down in the United States when people eat beef. Beef has gone down, chicken and pork have gone up. It has a lot to do with price, but as long as we can sell more than we're producing, or sell as much as we're producing, we can edge that price up, it's good for us. So, you know, we'll talk to you more about that. We'll have some printouts probably April or so, but I wanted to let you know that that's in the works. So you don't come to me and say, this is a secret. I said, no, it's not a secret. Y'all in the first chapter I talked to you about, and you know, if you like it, tell your neighbor. If you don't like it, come talk to me, and I'll try to make it feel better. But we've got 3 members on the Cattlemen's Beef Board from ICA that we nominated, and we nominated Secretary of State appoints, or the Secretary of Agriculture appoints. That's out of 102 people that do the national checkoff column. In Texas, we have 2 out of 18. So we have a voice. I mean, we're not a very big organization. I mean, there's not 500 people here, but you know, we don't sell insurance, and we don't get a brand inspection, so we